Whether you agree with it or not, everybody has their reasons for doing what they do. Whether you agree with it or not, everyone has their reasons for doing what they do. The thing is, just because you understand someone doesn't mean that you condone or agree with that person. We should spend time listening to people. We should spend time understanding where people are coming from with regard to the decisions that they make. But so many of us cast judgment. We have our opinions, but we sometimes forget that our opinions are typically rooted in our own personal lived experiences. Therefore, everybody has a reason for doing what they do. You may or may not agree with them, and that's okay. It's just the notion of understanding where they're coming from that gives you context. I was listening to this clip that was circulating, and it was actually posted by, I guess, a cigar group or something. But it was Steve Harvey talking about his love for cigars. And the beginning of the clip, it appeared that somebody was, questioning, I guess, the health value of smoking cigars or the negative effects that it may have on your health. But then he had a response. But don't forget what I just said. Everybody has a reason for doing what they do. You don't have to agree. You don't have to condone what they do, but it's good for you to understand at least where they're coming from. And the other part to it is when you're dealing with adults, if what an adult is doing doesn't harm anybody else, it doesn't infringe on someone else's rights or freedoms, if they understand the risks that are involved and they still choose to go down that pathway, then at the end of the day, they have the free will to make those choices, right? But I want you to hear this clip from Steve Harvey, and we're going to do a little reaction to it. But again, don't forget what I just said. Everybody has a reason for doing what they do. Listen to this clip on Steve Harvey and cigars, and we will get back to it.
Cigar. Before you tell me what cigars do to your body, let me tell you what it do for me. Because I gotta work from the time I wake up. I say I gotta have little moments in the day where I'm just doing what I want to do. And a cigar is relaxing to me. You take this from me, I don't do drugs.
You don't drink.
I ain't eat no cake. I got one woman. She at the house working. I'm down here working. Some got to give. Cigar. Cigar. Before.
So what Steve Harvey was basically saying was he understands that there's some health risk associated with smoking cigars, right? But to him, the benefits far exceed exceed the risk. To him, in his eyes, the benefits exceed the risk. So therefore, he's okay with the potential risk of smoking a cigar because they give him a sense of comfort, a sense of peace that gives him a sense of escape in the middle of his day. Now, whether or not you are a cigar smoker, whether or not you agree with his sentiment, you can respect and understand where he's coming from. Some people think about watching television or having their favorite television show. That's an escape for them. That's where they have an opportunity to relax and unwind. For some people, it might be a cocktail at the end of the day, right? That they say, you know what, this is part of my ritual in relaxing. That's what I do. I understand the risk associated, but based off of the benefits versus the risk, I'll take the benefits over the risk because I find that this helps me in my day. For some people, that works for them. You might not agree with it, but at least you can understand. And I think this is a very interesting example that Steve Harvey put out because we get very judgmental in how we operate. We've all formulated our opinions. We've all seen the studies on this equates to that, and this can lead to bad outcomes, and this can lead to, challenging circumstances. circumstances. And in some instances, that is 100% true. But if you are an individual who is well thought out, you understand the benefits as well as the risk associated with said activity, and you make the conscious decision to participate in said activity, I can't really do anything but say, I understand. I may agree, I may not agree, but I at least understand. And I think we need to do a little bit more of listening when people kind of explain themselves. And because we all have our thing, right? Whatever your thing is, for some people, maybe it's going to the gym. For some people, it's golf. You know, they got to play golf every clear Saturday. If it's a clear Saturday, they got to go play golf. That's their escape. That's their peace, right? For some people, it's getting on the grill. For some people, it is a cigar or a cocktail. For somebody else, it might be travel or spending time with certain people. That's your thing. That's the kind of like your ritual that gives you a sense of peace, right? And whatever that thing is, whether it's good or whether it has some various challenges associated with it, that's something that you find that helps you throughout your day. And just like Steve Harvey mentioned, before you criticize him for using cigars for that, reason, hear him out as to why he chooses cigars. And again, it's fascinating, right? I think it's something that we all need to be mindful of. And again, it's not about endorsing certain behaviors, right? You don't have to endorse something to understand it. You don't have to condone something to understand it. But it would be worth your while to spend time attempting to at least understand. And the other part about understanding, and this really to me goes into connection with individuals. Once you understand how someone thinks, once you understand what motivates someone, once you understand the things that are drivers in a particular life, you then have access to understand how to best influence, impact, or potentially help that particular person, because you know the things that matter to them. You know what they value. See, when it comes to value, when you can identify what an individual values, cost actually goes out the window, because most people will overpay for something that they truly value. But conversely, most people won't take it for free if it's something that they don't value. You can't give somebody something that they find zero value in, right? But if you find that thing that someone values, right? If you find that thing for them, then you have access to a connection, right? And that goes to the notion of understanding. You need to spend time understanding people. Like, we spend so much time judging what someone does, and we don't spend enough time trying to connect with that person. Therefore, without connection, we don't have the capacity to impact. We don't have the capacity to influence or to add value, because we ain't got no connection. So my message today: spend a little more time understanding and listening. And once you listen and understand, you then find opportunities in which you can ultimately connect with someone. And truthfully, we're not built to live in isolation on an island somewhere. We're designed to connect, right? You had Adam, and when God made Adam, he was like, listen, man is not meant to live alone. You got to have a helpmeet, created Eve. That's like the prime example showing that we're not meant to be solo dolo. We're meant to connect. But the more we spend time just judging and not trying to understand and connect, the more time we will spend isolated. So this is a really cool example. What are your thoughts on this? Did y'all agree with Steve? Do you agree with what I said? Or maybe you disagree? Either way, throw them in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. At the end of the day, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. Go be the quarterback of your mindset. I'll holla at you. Peace.